Maddie, and today I'm inside playing with toys. What's your favourite toy to play with? I really love doing jigsaw puzzles. Finished! And it's always fun to make towers with building blocks. And I like to play with toy cars like this one. Look, it's a special type of truck. And when I wind up this bit, and then watch what happens when I let it go. It moves on its own. It's called a wind-up toy. But do you know how wind-up toys work? Let's find out. How does it work?
Wind-up toy!
There are lots of different types of wind-up toy. Some can go swimming in the bath. Others make funny noises. And this is our toy truck that has wheels to move along the floor. Wind-up toys have a winding part. Just like this, it's called the key. And when you wind it, it makes a great noise. Now, if I put the truck on the floor, watch what happens. Off it goes! But what's happening inside the wind-up toy to give it the energy to move on its own? To find out, I think we need to take a closer look. When we turn the key of a wind-up toy, we use movement energy. It's called kinetic energy. As the key turns, it winds a strip of metal called a mainspring. It gets tighter and tighter and tighter. The energy we use to wind the mainspring doesn't disappear. It's stored inside the spring. Stored energy is called potential energy. As it unwinds, the mainspring turns small cogs called gears. The mainspring turns the stored potential energy back into kinetic movement energy. The gears are attached to the wheels, which spin around, making the car move. And off it zooms. So we can see how the energy is used inside a wind-up toy. I've got one of these. It's a wind-up mechanism. It's like the wind-up toy's engine. Let's give it a go. Look, as my hand turns the key, just like that, the mainspring gets smaller. It's getting wound up. And when I let it go, ooh! The mainspring unwinds. Look at all of the moving parts. It looks great, but they are tiny and everything moves so quickly that I think we should film this with one of my special cameras. This special camera films in slow motion, which means we can film things that happen quickly, but watch it back much more slowly. Right. When I turn the key, I'm making kinetic energy. The kinetic energy is being turned into potential energy. As the mainspring gets tighter and tighter, it keeps the energy inside. The mainspring is fully wound now, so if I let go, the potential energy is released. It turns back into kinetic energy and moves the gears. Can you see all the small grooves around the edge of the gears? Those are called teeth and they lock together. So when one gear moves, it will turn the one next to it as well. That looked really good, didn't it? As the energy moves through the gears, the last thing that happens is it will turn this part, called the axle. And on a toy truck, that's where the wheels go. 1, 2. So, now we know how it works on the inside. Let's see it in action for ourselves. Now the sound has stopped because the mainspring has been fully wound. And now, if I put the truck down and let it go, off it goes! How brilliant is that?
I loved finding out how wind-up toys work. What was your favourite bit?
Can you remember what the black coil of metal is called? That's right, it's called the mainspring. Did you hear the sound that the mainspring made as it tightened up? And did you see all the gears moving around on my special slow-motion camera?
Learning about wind-up toys was lots of fun, wasn't it? But now I'm going to play cricket. You can be a bowler who bowls the ball,
The batter who hits the ball.
or you can be a fielder. They try to catch the ball and throw it back. But did you see the special bat I used to hit the ball with? It's called a cricket bat. How's a cricket bat made? Let's find out.
How is it made?
Cricket bat.
To find out how cricket bats are made, I've come to a factory that makes cricket bats. Look how many there are. They make around 600 bats here every single week, and they get sent all over the world for people to play cricket with. Cricket bats are made from a type of wood called willow because it comes from a willow tree. Willow wood is great for making cricket bats because it's light, strong, but also a little bit bouncy. But how does willow wood turn into a cricket bat?
First, they chop up the tree trunks with a chainsaw before it's chopped by hand with an axe and a mallet. It takes 2 people to cut the wood into 8 pieces.
These smaller sections are called clefts, and one cleft will make one cricket bat.
The clefts are then cut into the right shape with a circular saw.
Now the clefts have been shaped, they're called blades. But I think the end looks more like a house. A very long house.
Wood can hold lots of water inside, so the blades are taken to be dried out.
The blades are all stacked up in here. This is called a dehumidifying kiln.
Dehumidifying means removing moisture to make something dry.
So this is kept at a really warm temperature, and that helps to dry out the wood.
And after about 5 weeks, the blades are ready to be turned into cricket bats.
Now the blades are dry enough, they get passed through this machine called a planer, and that shaves off any of the rough edges. It's really smooth.
Next, the blades go through the spindle moulder, which shapes a curve into the front of the blade.
This side of the blade will become the part of the bat that hits the ball, and the curve helps the ball to bounce off it. Cricket balls are quite hard, so a cricket bat needs to be really strong so that it doesn't get dented when it hits the ball.
The press machine presses the blade together. This makes it harder and stronger and protects the bat.
The bat is now strong enough to hit a ball, but it's quite tricky to hold, and that's because it's missing something. What do you think that is? That's right, a cricket bat needs a handle. But how does a tube-shaped piece of wood like this fit onto the blade?
A circular saw makes the end of the handle pointy and cuts a V shape into the blade.
The 2 parts fit together like puzzle pieces. Now they just need to get fixed in place.
And after a spot of gloopy glue, and a hit on the clamp from a hammer, the glue is left to dry, joining both parts together.
When the bat and the handle are dry, they go inside this huge machine called a CNC machine, and it cuts the rest of the shape into it. For safety, I'm not allowed inside these barriers, so Rob has put some of my special cameras on the machine so we can see how it cuts the wood.
Okay, here goes.
It's noisy, isn't it? I think it sounds like a swarm of bees. Can you see all of the wood shavings flying everywhere? Like a snowstorm.
And look at that round cutter spinning around really quickly.
It's called a pineapple because it looks like a pineapple. It's Kev's job to do the finishing work. That means he blends the handle into the shoulders of the bat. They're a bit like our shoulders, aren't they?
Then the bat gets a good sanding and oiling to make it smooth and shiny before it's time to finish off the handle.
To make the bat comfortable to hold, Alan winds string around the handle using this spinning machine. It's called binding. Jan does the very last job, and that's to cover the string with a rubber grip to make the handle grippy. And here we have a finished bat, ready to play a game of cricket. I loved finding out how cricket bats are made. What was your favourite part?
Can you remember what type of wood is used to make a cricket bat? That's right, it's willow. Did you hear the sound of the chainsaw when it chopped up the tree trunk? And did you see how quickly the pineapple cutter shaped the blade on my special camera?
So the next time you play with a wind-up toy, you'll know how it uses energy to move around. And if you play a game of cricket, you'll know how the bat was made from wood. I'll see you next time.
There are lots of things